Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Galactic Core podcast. As I'm doing every day from the 22nd to the 29th of December, I'm here to review the daily episode of Marvel's What If Season 3. First of all, if you're not following or liking the Galactic Core podcast on any of your social medias, then please jump on to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. Also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else where you've got podcasts, and you'll be able to find the Galactic Core podcast there. So give us a like, give us a follow, tune in. As I said, every day I'm here reviewing the Marvel What If Season 3 episodes. Also right in the middle of the Star Wars series Skeleton Crew, where every Wednesday you'll find myself in collaboration with Clan Brandalorian, as we will be there to review every episode of that as it comes out as well. This week you'll find us on Boxing Day rather than tomorrow, because tomorrow's Christmas Day, so we're taking that day off to be with our fams. So make sure you join us on Boxing Day, but then every Wednesday after that to review Skeleton Crew. Let's crack on though with today's episode of Marvel's What If. So today we're looking at what if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier. A lot happened in this episode, to be fair, so I'm just going to sort of read the synopsis just to refresh your memory, because quite a bit did happen. So we start back in 1991, where Super Soldiers, the Red Guardian, and the Winter Soldier are sent to recover a case of Super Soldier Serum from Howard and Maria Stark, as we saw in the Civil War film. When Barnes is about to kill the couple, Red Guardian prevents him from doing so, and they only get one vial of the serum. They're forced to return to Russia on their own, with the authorities and Bill Foster on their tail. Believing someone known as the Rook can provide them with transportation, the duo tracks them to Las Vegas. On the way, Barnes is told by the Red Room's leader, General Dreykov, the Red Guardian has become a liability and secretly orders him to kill him. As they arrive in Vegas, they discover that the Rook is no other than Obadiah Stane, who provides the Russians with information about the Super Soldier Serum in order to eliminate the Starks from the market. When Stane attempts to kill the duo, Barnes knocks him out of the window from the top floor of the hotel, sending him to his death. Then Bill Foster and the local SWAT team and a task force sent by the Red Room swarm the area, forcing the super soldiers to flee. During the chaos and a little chat between Red Guardian and Bucky, Bucky is then able to resist the trigger words that activate him into brainwashing and buys the Red Guardian time to escape. He destroys the last vial of the serum, and sometimes later, Barnes is taken back to Hydra's base in Siberia, where he's interrogated about the Red Guardian's whereabouts. But Barnes tells them that he's dead, and then he's brainwashed again and put back into the situation that he's always been in. Meanwhile, the Red Guardian is approached by Bill Foster, who offers him a chance to help the United States once again. And then 21 years later, Red Guardian is seen fighting alongside the Avengers in the Battle of New York in that iconic scene where they're surrounded, where he barges himself in next to Captain America. So a lot going on in this episode, to be fair. Probably one of the busiest episodes that we've seen in terms of what actually goes on. Was like a mini story, a proper mini story or mini film story in its own episode. But just going to run through some of the Easter eggs that we see from this episode. So obviously the 1991 footage that we saw in Civil War, the sort of grainy security footage where the Starks got assassinated, albeit this time that doesn't happen due to Red Guardian's involvement. We do see a picture of Dreykov's daughter, Antonia, in his office. Obviously, she, as we saw in the Black Widow film, eventually becomes Taskmaster, who we're obviously going to see in the Thunderbolts film alongside Red Guardian and Bucky as well. We do get to hear the classic Winter Soldier theme, again from the Civil War film and in the Winter Soldier film. So it's nice to hear that return, because I've always been a little bit of a fan of that theme, to be honest. We do get to see Bill Foster's Goliath in action. Never actually got to see him in the second Ant-Man film. But here we get to see him, obviously voiced by his film character Lawrence Fishburne as well. He's a bit younger in this, and he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and tracking down Alexei and Bucky. Even though we did see him obviously make his initial debut as Goliath in What If Season 2 as well. So good to see him returning in this series. And also we've got the park ranger is voiced by America Ferrera, known for her roles in Barbie, Superstore Ugly Betty, and a few others. There was a classic Thelma and Louise moment in this film as well, where Bucky and Alexei do the canyon jump. in a way to obviously avoid the police. So there was a classic little Easter egg there. And the one memory that we see in here that that Bucky is able to recall as the Winter Soldier is he just sort of gets this image of Coney Island, which is obviously a flashback to some of the memories he has back in the 40s when he was hanging out with Steve Rogers. And then, of course, at the end, as I did mention earlier in the synopsis, we do get that classic shot from the Avengers where it sort of pans around all of them in the Battle of New York, and Alexei butts his way into it next to Captain America. So, yeah, in terms of this episode itself, it was one I was looking forward to before. But in terms of how the whole episode went down, I've got to say I wasn't that fussed about it, to be honest. In a way, Red Guardian almost became a bit of a joke. He was so cliche in this episode, it became annoying for me anyway at times. I just wasn't particularly thrilled by how they put him in this episode, how they make him look. I understand he obviously still was like that in the Black Widow film, and he's going to be like that in Thunderbolts, but it was almost so cliche in this, it was painful. I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. And how they present Bucky in this one, you know, we haven't exactly seen a lot in the MCU universe, in the film universe, of Bucky as the Winter Soldier, in terms of being this deadpan classic assassin. You know, the bits that we did see in the Winter Soldier film itself, and some of the flashbacks from the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV series. Yeah, he's not exactly chatty. He doesn't seem to really have his mind of his own. It's literally just all about the mission. And of course, Civil War, some flashbacks there as well when he kills the Stark. So the fact that they made him a bit more chatty in this, and he's so instantaneously able to resist the trigger words that brainwash him, didn't seem like that was realistic either, especially when it took essentially a lot of time with the Wakandans for them to take all of that Hydra stuff out of him. You know, we do see in this episode that the red Hydra sort of book that has all the keywords in that we see in Civil War as well, that Zemo got hold of. So nice to see that it all ties in, even if it is a different universe. But yeah, I just don't like how they displayed Red Guardian and Winter Soldier in this episode. Just didn't seem like, one, they were giving a good portrayal of the character, and two, it doesn't seem in line with that sort of character that we know. I know they were trying to give Bucky a little bit of sort of instant character progression here, but you know, when you've got a brainwashed Winter Soldier on your hand, he's all about the mission, and to break that takes a lot more than I think the Red Guardian, but maybe that's what they were trying to get at as well. I mean, the other thing to pick up on here is that I think Bill Foster was great in this. It's nice to see some Goliath in action. You know, we've seen obviously Giant Man with Ant-Man and stuff, but to see Goliath was pretty cool. But there seems to be, in every episode, in all 3 episodes so far, they seem to want to tell some sort of moral story to leave you on a feel-good note. I'm not really enjoying that, to be fair. I don't need my stories to be told with a moral theme to them every single episode. So I hope that's not going to be the overriding theme of every episode of this season, that everything has to have a moral story to it. Just tell me a good story. It's What If, for God's sake. You can literally tell any story you want. You don't have to put a moral background into every single one. So, I mean, tomorrow's episode, I'm hoping it's going to be a fun one. The Christmas Day episode, what if Howard the Duck got hitched? So we're going to see Darcy Lewis, Howard the Duck, Nick Fury, Loki, and Yondu. So it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we've seen some of these characters in the previous seasons of What If already. So I don't know if that's like a weird continuation of their story, if it's just something brand new. But I'm hoping that this is just going to be a fun, light-hearted episode. It doesn't need to have any overriding theme for it, because it's Christmas Day. Let's just enjoy it and have a bit of fun. So far, though, season 3, What If, 3 episodes in, the Agatha Went to Hollywood episode from yesterday has actually been the best one so far out of the 3. So I'm hoping that it really does kick on from here, because the last 4 episodes, What If the Emergence Destroyed the Earth, the sort of Wild Wild West 1872 episode, followed by what seems to be a 2-part finale of The Watcher disappearing and What If. I really hope this is going to kick on now and finish this series in a really good way. But yep, that's it for today. As I said, just doing some quick reviews of what's going on. So make sure you join us tomorrow, Christmas Day. Going to have a bit of fun with it. So until then, everyone, I will see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Galactic Core Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. But until next time, go get your geek on.